I was just down.
Woohoo! Mrs. James Math 7 class. Today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So take out your rational number flip book, and while you're doing that, I'm just going to make a little face here. So we are adding and subtracting mixed numbers today. So not a whole number, but a whole number with a fraction on it, a mixed number. So fold that back. We're going to do an example of what I mean. First example. 2 4/9 minus 1/6. So the first step, let's write down our steps. Step number 1 is we're going to change our mixed numbers, and you know what? I'm actually going to change this to 3, negative 3 1/6. Two mixed numbers there. So let's make this a little bit better. I apologize for that. There you go. Okay, so step number 1 with our mixed numbers, we're going to change them to improper fractions. So change to improper. And you do that by multiplying the bottom number times the side number, and then you add whatever you get here to the top number. Bottom times the side, add the top. So we're going to try that with both of our mixed fractions. So 9 times 2 would give us 18, and we're going to add 4 to 18. So our numerator is now 22 over 9. If you want to quickly mentally check that, 9 goes into 22 2 times, 2 whole times, and there would be 4 left over. So that works out. Minus, we're going to do the same thing over here. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 more would be 19. So this becomes 19 over 6. Okay, that's our first step. I don't see a common denominator here, so that's going to be our second step. We need to break our fractions into the same size pieces. So I've got 9ths and sixths. I'm going to have to figure out what pieces we can break both of those into. So step 2 is find a common denominator. Denom. Okay, so I'm thinking about the smallest number, 9, and 6 will go into. And 6 doesn't go into 9, so I can't use 9. 9 goes into 18. That's the next smallest one. And 6 also goes into 18, so that works out great. I'm going to use 18 as my common denominator. So over here, to change it to 18, I have to multiply by 2. And over here, to change it to 18, I have to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So that changes this to, let's see, 2 times 22 is 44 over 18 minus 3 times 19. Well, 3 times 20 would be 60. I have to take away 3 from 60, so 57 over 18. So now I have my common denominator. Step 3. I can combine my numerators now, since I now have a common denominator. So 44 minus 57, I see different signs. I'm going to have to subtract. I'm going to take the sign of the number that's further from 0, so I have more negatives left. Now I'm going to have a negative number. 44 minus 57 would be 13. So I have negative 13 over 18. So for step 3, I combined the numerators. Now in this one, we didn't have to simplify, but step number 4, we didn't have to simplify in this one, but I just want you to keep in mind that there could be some simplifying. So always check. Do you need to simplify it? And in this case, we do not. Our final answer is negative 13/18. Okay, so I want you to try a couple. Over here, lots of banners. So how about you make it green? The first one, I want you to follow the steps and subtract these two mixed numbers. So go ahead and follow the steps. Pause. All right. So I hope that you changed them both into improper fractions. So that would look like, can you see that okay? That would look like 12 plus 1 is 13 over 4 minus 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7 over 4. It says find a common denominator. We already have one, so that's lovely. Combine numerators. So 13 minus 7 would be 6 over 4. Next step, I need to simplify. I do need to simplify this one. 2 can simplify if I divide it on the top and the bottom. So this becomes 3 over 2. I would accept that answer. Or if you want to change it back into a mixed number, 2 goes into 3 one time with 1/2 left over. So either one of these answers, these have the same value. All right, try this one. I want you to try 3 3/4 minus 4 1/3. Okay, pause and try. All right, so we have to change it to improper fractions. So you're going to multiply 3 times 4. That's 12 plus 3 is 15 over 4. Minus multiply 3 times 4 over here. That's 12 plus 1 is 13 over 3. All right, second step, find a common denominator. So I want the smallest number that 4 goes into and 3 goes into. So the next, let's see, 3 doesn't go into 4 and vice versa. So I'm going to start with 4. 4 goes into 8, but 3 doesn't go into 8. Let's see, 4 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 12. So that could be my common denominator, my least common multiple. So over here, to change the denominator to 12, I'm going to multiply by 3. And over here, to change it to 12, I'm going to multiply it by 4. So I get 45, 3 times 15, and over 12, minus, I need to multiply 13 times 4. Let's see, 15 times 4 would be 60, so minus 8 would be 52. And then 4 times 3 is 12. If I subtract those two, 45 minus 52 would be 7. And then this is, 52 is further away from 0, so it's going to be negatives left over. So it's going to be negative 7 over 12. And remember, it doesn't matter whether you put the negative in front of the 7, in front of the whole entire fraction, or in front of the 12. As long as there's one negative in front of the fraction, it's negative. So I need to see that negative sign somewhere. So either one of these answers, they're the same thing. I'm going to put a box around this one. Okay. Check the description for another video if you want some more practice or explanation. and I will see you next math class.
Bye.